Hello Year 4. So as we know, today we are focusing on prediction. Specifically today we are focusing on the give your opinion question. So in the last video, part 1 of this session today, we were focusing on how we need to make sure that we get full marks for this question. I am going to show you my example and we are going to look through it together and we are going to discuss what we have done and the steps we have taken to produce a really high quality answer. So the question that I am asking is, do you think the children will survive in the rainforest? Now, this isn't linked to the chapter that we previously read today, but it is linked to what the whole book is about, children surviving in the rainforest. So we've got here yes, no, or maybe, and it says explain your answer giving evidence from the text. So we need to first think, well, do I think the children will survive? Well, I could say no, but I've got to give evidence from the text, and nothing's told me so far that they're not going to survive. They've done lots and lots of really good things that make me think they're going to survive. Well, I could say maybe, but then again, if I say maybe, that means I've got to have a yes and a no point. So I might say, well, yes, but this happened, which makes me think that they might not survive. But nothing's really giving me the opinion or thought that they won't survive because they've done really well at surviving so far. So my first thing is you will have a tick box, but I don't have a tick box, but I would be ticking, or in my case, highlighting my opinion first of all. Remember, it's your opinion. You might be sitting looking at this video and thinking, no, Miss Newman, I don't think the children will survive. Or you might be thinking, Miss Newman, I think actually it's a maybe, that they could survive, but they might not survive. So don't worry if you have a different opinion. But my opinion is that they will survive. Now, when you've decided whether it's a yes, no, or a maybe answer, you then need to start drafting your answer. Now, you can see here that my box is a very big box. Now, I don't want children just writing 2 lines for their answer because this is a 3-mark question. We need to get our 3 points in there to make sure we grab those 3 marks, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, as always, is to repeat our thoughts, what we actually think the answer is, yes, no, or maybe. So you'd reword the sentence by saying, I think the children will survive in the rainforest, because that relates to me saying yes, they will survive. If you selected no, that would be I think the children won't survive in the rainforest. And if you clicked maybe, you would be like, I think the children might survive in the rainforest. Now that is the first step to your answer, making sure that you really let the reader know what your thoughts are. Rather than just highlighting the answer, repeat it again in your answer. You can never get told off for repeating yourself unless you are repeating yourself too much. But we've only repeated ourselves once, and that's okay. Now it's telling me to explain my answer. Now I've stated my answer. Now that's not enough. We need to explain it. Explaining it using that word because. So I'm thinking now, why do I think the children will survive in the rainforest? Why do you think the children might survive in the rainforest? Can you just pause the video and have a bit of a think? Okay. So maybe you might think the children will survive in the rainforest because they've already come so far. They've survived a few days already with no food, no water, no toothbrush, no proper bed, no warm clothes in case it got a bit cold. But do rainforests get cold? No. But they've got no change of clothes because it's been raining so much in the rainforest. So they've survived this far. So my next step of my answer will be now saying why you think yes or no or maybe. So I've wrote, I think this because there are 4 of them, so 4 children, and together they have already came up with lots of innovative ideas for how to survive. Now this word innovative means lots of imaginative, clever ideas for how to survive. And I've stated there that yes, they've come up with these ideas for how to survive, and that is my reason for why I think they're going to survive. Now, after you have reworded the question to show that your answer is yes, no, or maybe, and you've stated why you think this answer using the word because, you can then start to give evidence from the text. Now, when you give evidence from the text, it can be direct quotes from the text, or it can just be what you have remembered about the text. And you will see in my answer today, I have not given direct quotes, but I've still given evidence by stating what I know about the text. And now this is where you give evidence from the text. And you give evidence by thinking, well, how do I know they've came up with lots of ideas for how to survive? What ideas have they came up with? So, I would like you to think, what have the children done so far in the text that has been really clever and that's helped them to survive? Pause the video and have a think, please. Okay, so I've thought that they've done lots of things. They've found a den. They've made a roof for the den out of leaves to make sure the light stays in. Doesn't come in, so it's nice and dark for them to be able to sleep at night. They have made a fire out of flints and steel. And they've been innovative by using Fred's watch with the steel. They have made food from grubs and cocoa beans, and they've even made some chocolate pancakes. And they've just survived in general. So that is my evidence from the text. I haven't made that up. It's nothing that I've had to think, oh, what have they done? Because I already know, because it's from the text. It's the evidence from the text. So now you can start to actually give examples. So I've put here, in the text, the children have already done a variety of things that make me think they will survive. Such as, so here is where I give my examples. So I'm reeling off now all of my evidence which makes me think that they are going to survive. So, such as finding a den and making a roof out of leaves for it, using flints and steel to make a fire, making food from cocoa beans and grubs. And now Fred has even made a raft out of wood to try and sail to safety. So now you can see that I have filled the box with all of my ideas. I have stated my actual answer, yes, no, or maybe. I have stated why. And then the majority of my answer is my evidence, okay? Then it might be nice to just finish off your paragraph with just tying it all together, repeating once more. Therefore, I think the children are more than capable of surviving in this rainforest. So you can see here that I've actually colour-coded it to show you the amount of words, the amount of lines that you will probably need to spend on each section. So just 1 or 1.5 lines stating what you think, so yes, no, or maybe. Then 4 lines or so explaining why you think this. Then about double of what you've used for why to explain how you know this, your evidence, and then 1 or 2 lines again, tying it all together, saying, therefore, I think this. You don't need to say another because you've already explained it, but you're just tying it together for the reader. Okay, so your task for today is to do exactly the same. Now, what I have done is I have screenshotted the last slide and shown you the breakdown of all the different parts of my answer. I've also given you a step-by-step instruction of how you could possibly frame your answer all about your prediction, because I noticed in some of your work last week it was fantastic. You have got some great predictions, but we need to just extend those answers. We need to learn now how to really step by step build our answers up to having those 3 marks. And then I've given you just 2 prediction questions, and this is the example of one of them. Do you think that the raft will help the children get to where they need to go? So you've got to tick yes, no, or maybe. Repeat that in your answer. I think the children will. I think the children won't get to where they need to go. I think this because, what makes you think this? Because when you tick yes, no, or maybe, something has to be going on in your head to think, I've ticked yes because I think this. Write that down on your page. Then go back to the text. I've included the text in your resources today, and use that evidence to scaffold your answer. Then tie it all together by saying, therefore, I think the raft will, won't, or might help the children get to where they need to go. And then there's another question after that too. So just 2 prediction questions using the scaffold that I've given you today. Quick plenary then, what 3 tips would you give to someone if it was their first time making a prediction? Pause the video, have a think please. 3 tips, off you go. Okay, you might have came up with lots of different tips for making a prediction. Read the question. Make sure you know what it's asking. Have a think in your mind first of all, before you even think of the text. What do I think? Then go and find some evidence in the text. It can be a quote, or it can just be something that you already know about the text. Tie it all together with your final answer, and you have your very own prediction. Have a lovely rest of your day, Year 4, and I will see you in our next lesson. Bye!